The following program is intended for mature audiences.
A democratic republic of sports. The Sportsocracy with ESPN Asheville hosts Tank Spencer and Jeremy Greene.
And welcome into the Sportsocracy. Tank Spencer and Jeremy Greene live in the Wicked Weed studio on a Monday morning, an overreaction Monday morning. I mean, why not? It's preseason. It's, the games really don't matter, but I mean, you can take some lessons away from the first week of the preseason. So what was real, what was not about preseason week number one. Thanks for joining us in the Wicked Weed studio. As always, check out our friends at wickedweedbrewing.com. Wicked Weed Brewing, drink different. All right, so did you pull anything away? Oh, God. He's got the Jets shirt on. Of course, we all should have known who was the headliner of all of this. Zach Wilson. True or false, Zach Wilson is hotter than his mom?
No, his mom's still hotter. But I am pretty hot to trot about the number one rated QBR among all the first-round rookies of week one. Number one, not number two, not number three, number one.
Well, I mean, I guess he is the only rookie quarterback that didn't have a shit in his pants moment.
Nope. He had one really bad throw, and it was the first throw, and I went, oh, no.
Right.
Oh, no, it sucked again. And then we didn't. And I saw what I saw from that arm. And, oh, good Lord, watching him throw a football just, it makes my trousers a little tighter.
So we will go over the highlights, the lowlights. There's not, I don't have much to say about my team.
You shouldn't, because Kyle Trask, I don't think could hit water off a bridge.
Now, come on. Not all of that was his fault.
No, there were some drops.
He did have five dropped passes in that game. So
yeah, that's a little weird when every one of your.
How shocked were you though? How shocked were you though to find out Tom Brady's playing in this game?
I was stunned to see Tom Brady play and Sam Darnold not. if you bet that, holy shit!
He didn't need to. Sam doesn't need any reps. He doesn't need the reps.
Good Lord. No, I would love to have that explained to me really slowly.
We are moving quite along here.
By the way, the most fight I saw all weekend, crowd of the Chargers-Rams game.
Yeah.
That was, I don't know who that woman was, but she just started some shit. Did you see the video?
No.
This is all happening like, just fuck you, no fuck you. And then this woman takes a full Coke and just goes, no fuck you. And then just steps back and lets it happen.
Nice.
And some old buddy got his head just rocked.
But this is what it's all about. It's being back in the, fans being back in the stadiums. We got fights going on. I like it.
I mean, it's football. It's football. It's real life, honest to Jehovah football. Let's go.
Well, I mean,
did they put on the jerseys we wanted to see?
They did.
Did they play competitive football? Did they keep score? That's probably better than asking, was it competitive?
Loosely, they kept score. Yes.
Rob Johnson said Justin Fields' ADP went up over the weekend, I bet. Yeah, and it shouldn't have because he wasn't particularly good.
No, come on.
He was not particularly good.
He started off horrible, but then in the third quarter, he turned it around.
Oh, you mean when he played against real-life NFL talent, he wasn't very good?
Yeah.
And then he beat up a bunch of guys that are going to be working at Kinko's? Hot. Good for you, Justin Fields. Fucking phenomenal.
Just because he didn't.
He's dropping dimes on guys that are going to be working at the Postal Service in a month.
Just because he didn't impress against the ones doesn't mean anything.
He did not impress. He was flat out bad. bad.
I did like the fact that after the game, though, he said, it was actually slower than I thought it was.
Yeah, because you were playing against guys that are slower than you thought they were.
He was like, when you practice every day against the ones of the Chicago Bears' vaunted defense. Which I think he's got a point to that.
No, One of these days, I'll teach you to put that slider back up after you turn it down.
Yeah, my bad. Anyhow, Justin Fields, I thought.
Evan Doyle.
There's no panic.
By the way, today officially starts comment scoring. Evan Doyle +2.
What'd he say?
He said, I am just here to hear Tank talk about the future 10-win Bengals beating the reigning Super Bowl champions. Good for you. I love a Bengals fan that can understand. Like Evan Doyle is without a doubt the most reasonable Bengals fan I've ever seen. Now, granted, the competition has not always been really fierce. Mm-hmm. That's what happens when you trend in their subreddit, like I did. They told me to go have sex with myself.
All right, let's do takeaways. We'll do the whole schedule, game by game, from this weekend in preseason football. So it all started out Thursday night. New England Patriots 22-13 over the Washington football team. There are New England fans losing their minds right now. One, because Mac Jones has apparently done the one thing that Proximo told Maximus to do in The Gladiator. He has won the crowd.
Yeah.
Because as soon as Cam Newton started overthrowing receivers, they started booing from the stands. Mac Jones has won the crowd.
I want to tell you something about Cam Newton's appearance that is maybe the funniest thing you'll hear all day.
Yeah.
He threw to three targets, 6 passes through to 3 different players.
Okay.
Take a stab at who any of them are.
Oh, God. James White. Ramondre Stevenson.
No.
N'Keal Harry.
Nope. Jacoby Myers, Jonnu Smith, and James White. 3 of his 6 passes went to a running back. 2 of the other 3 went to a tight end because Cam Newton can't throw to the outside. This is Mac Jones' job. Mm-hmm. This is not an overreaction. I saw exactly what I needed to see out of Mac Jones.
Yeah.
His yards per attempt was fucking brutal. I want to say it was 4.6 yards per attempt, which is horrendous. But that's what they're going to ask him to do. Yeah. And that's what I told you they were going to ask him to do, which is why I am drunk in love on Damian Harris.
Oh, no, Ramondre Stevenson. He's the one to have.
Yeah, I want to address that directly. If you send me one more message about Ramondre fucking Stevenson, I swear to God I'm going to deactivate my Twitter. I bet you I've got no less than 50. Is Ramondre Stevenson the running back to ever do it? No! You're saying Damian Harris wrong. He had one 91-yard run that I think I could have ripped off 60 on. So, calm down, Ramondre Stevenson. Playing against a bunch of dudes that are going to be working at FedEx next week, okay?
Right. But he had 127 yards and 2 touchdowns on 10 carries.
Yep, and 91 of it was on one run. One.
But, I think it does lend to the Sony Michel is done thing.
Chris Edenfield, +2. He said my takeaway is Jeremy could throw a better block than Tim Tebow did.
Yes.
100%. Ooh, I should be notating these.
It's one of my greatest thrills of the weekend was to see everyone mocking Tim Tebow for whatever
being god-awful at football?
Whatever that was called. You can't call that blocking. He was just trying to trip him, I think. Just basically trying to do the Three Stooges thing. Like, somebody get on the other side, you push him, and I'll just bend over and you can flip him over me.
Yes. We'll get to Jacksonville, and I promise you there's going to be a lot of Jacksonville talk. Because holy shit balls, that's worse than I thought it was.
Yes. Yes, it is. Anyway, Ramondre Stevenson caught a lot of eyeballs for his 91-yard touchdown run late in the game. But, yeah, the main takeaway here is that Mac Jones is in the driver's seat
100%.
In New England.
Cam Newton will not make this team. I was a year off. He will get cut from this team because he is not going to sit back and hold a clipboard for Mac Jones.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest with you, did you watch any of that game?
I saw highlights.
It was so obvious. Cam knows, I know, Bill knows, Mac Jones knows, and it is abundantly obvious. Cam Newton looked like a little kid who shit his pants on the playground. Like just waiting on mama to come pick him up and change his stinky. It was, holy, good Lord, Cam Newton looked petulant on that sideline.
The other Thursday night game was the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Philadelphia Eagles. You didn't want to talk about anything from Washington?
You had no takeaways from Washington.
No takeaways from Washington.
Ryan Fitzpatrick was not particularly good, and Antonio Gibson is going to get way more passing down work than you think he is. It's my number one takeaway.
Okay.
But here's the thing. In these short, they play one drive, two drives, don't worry about the stats. Stats are misleading. Stats are bullshit. Look at the targets. Mm-hmm. That's something I'm going to talk about a lot throughout these preseason evaluations. Ryan Fitzpatrick threw 8 passes. 3 of them went to Terry McLaurin. 2 of them went to Adam Humphries, who I'm not going to say he's a guy, but if Curtis Samuels is going to be the hurt individual that he seems to always be, that's a name you should have in the back of your brain. And Antonio Gibson had too. Just throwing that out there. I think Antonio Gibson is one of the few, no doubt, starters, top 5-round fantasy picks that bumped up my board a little bit in the preseason.
I have felt like the talk about J.D. McKissic and his role in this offense has been overblown this offseason. I mean, I get that he had some standalone value last year in fantasy, but it's clear that Antonio Gibson is the more talented of the two. And let's not forget, he was a wide receiver at Memphis. He has better hands than J.D. McKissic. There's no problem, no doubt about that. I think people put too much stock into J.D. McKissic's role.
I don't necessarily agree with that because he's a better blocker. But I think you're going to see this offense. It's going to evolve a little bit, and I think Antonio Gibson's a guy I could see. And I don't know how many targets did he have last year?
Not sure off the top of my head.
I can tell you. It's the beauty of the jiggle box. Antonio Gibson last year had 44 targets. I wouldn't be shocked if it was double that this year. I wouldn't be shocked if he had 80. He's a guy that I now feel really comfortable taking as, if I go Kelsey in the first round, Antonio Gibson's my first running back, totally fine.
Yes.
By the way, the other thing I learned from this game, and I mean this with every fiber of my soul, announcers, stop talking about fantasy football because you don't have a fuck clue what you're talking about, and it drives me absolutely insane.
What did they say?
The announcers in this game were talking about the fantasy relevance of like these third running back, just shut up. Let us do fantasy. You do big boy football. You played it, that's fine. You talk about that. You talking about fantasy football is a lot like me trying to help my wife pick out dresses. Because I don't really know what I'm talking about, and any advice I give should not be solicited in the first place.
You should just stick with, that makes you look good.
Fantasy football. Woo! That's what you should do. Nothing else. They had one really weird, do you have a fantasy football team? No, I don't have time to play fantasy football.
Then
why? Because you're the regional broadcaster for the Patriots? Yeah, here's your weekly prep. Mac Jones, Cam Newton, do I have enough whipped cream to just lather on Bill's balls? There's your prep. Done. Patriot regional fucking broadcaster, you nutsack.
Who are they talking about?
Oh, God, I don't remember. I think it was Sony Michel.
Oh, God.
That they went on and on. Like, you do realize he might not make the team. Like, Ramondre Stevenson may take his roster spot on this team.
Yeah.
And they just get... That's what drives me crazy about the football announcers when they talk about fantasy football players. You don't know what you're talking about? Okay, Sports Center anchors do this shit all the time. Some random ass Brandon Bolden. I bet you wish you had him on your fantasy team. No, the fuck you don't, because if you played him, I'd have kicked you out of the league for being absolutely out of your damn mind. For being drunk at 11 a.m. on a Sunday.
Right.
Me +2.
Good job.
Eat shit. I can score myself as well.
Thursday.
Michael Whiteside said, but I've seen you wear a dress. +1. +1, Michael Whiteside.
Wait.
He ain't wrong.
Is that a story I want to hear?
A story you want to hear?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
An actual story? Yes.
Anyway, the other Thursday night game was the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Philadelphia Eagles. Is Jalen Hurts out to just get everybody on his wide receiver core hurt?
He is a very bad real-life quarterback.
Yes. The Devontae Smith injury, I put a lot of that on Jalen Hurts.
You should.
Right. Did you see the play that Devontae Smith got hurt on? He was contorting back to try to get to the ball when he, whatever it was, pulled his taint. I don't know what it was. Then in this one, he's just skipping passes to Jalen Reagor, and you're missing wide open receivers.
Yeah, Quez Watkins on him.
Yeah.
Quez Watkins, do you think it got loud with just what he did? He missed a 98-yard touchdown because Jalen Hurts just flat out missed him.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and he would have walked in. So you think it was annoying, Josh Michael? Oh, Josh Michael, our cohort at Radio Ranch, iHeartRadio.
Was he getting excited?
Morning show host for Star 104.3. Huge Philadelphia Eagles fan. He said, I can't wait to buy a Quez Watkins jersey. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Just don't do that.
I would like to point out, though, I don't think there is a single player that has ever been with that team longer than 3 years that Josh has bought a jersey for.
Yes.
Because I remember the day he got a LaShawn McCoy jersey. He was so excited, and then Chip Kelly comes in 12 months later and blows up the whole team. He was the biggest Carson Wentz fan in the world, and we see where that led him.
Chris Enfield said Jalen was trying to play point guard instead of quarterback with all those bounce passes. +2, Chris Enfield. By the way, speaking of quarterbacks that also played football, this is a stat that has not one damn thing to do with what we're talking about, but I have to give it. Our part-time Brian Haynes, the third when we have a third.
I like that.
The Knicks renounced Frank Nicolino.
Okay.
So now he's free agent. Can you name me? I will give 5 points to anybody in the comments that can name the last first-round pick that signed a multi-year deal, second deal with the Knicks. I'll tell you later in the show. First person to get it right in the comments, I'll throw a +5 your way. It is dumbfounding. Because you think it's Kristaps, right?
You would think.
No, he re-signed with Dallas.
Yeah.
Because they traded him.
That's right.
He didn't redo the rookie deal. If you can name me the last Knicks player to sign a second multi-year deal, I'm going to give you a hint. David Lee signed a 1-year deal. It's not him.
Okay.
Dumbfounding.
I can't.
I'll be honest with you, I think I was still pissing in my pants when this happened. And it was acceptable. Like, not, I drank too many wheat beers at the bar.
I was going to say.
Like, I was young enough that I was expected to still go TT in my pants.
Okay.
Hilarious.
God, was it like John Starks?
It's that long ago. It's that long ago. It was not him, but it was that long ago.
All right, I'll stop guessing because I'll ruin it. On the Pittsburgh side of this, has everything we've been hearing about Dwayne Haskins actually true? That he is much better than they thought he was going to be, that they just took a flyer because, hell, he was a first-round talent, and then they bring him in, and apparently he's pretty decent now. Because he didn't have a bad game.
No, he was
16 and 22, 161 yards and a touchdown. 3 of their drives or 2 of their drives while he was in the game ended in points. He may actually be the backup over Mason Rudolph.
I think he will be. I didn't see much in this game to make me go, to make me jump up and down, but he was fine. I'm starting to worry about the line of the Steelers a little bit. Not a lot. They just very much show that they need repetitions. You know who I'm not worried about? Najee Harris, because he is a bad mofo. He is a bad cat daddy. And don't look at the stat line. Stat line doesn't mean shit. He had two decent runs called back by holds. I want to say one was 15 yards and one was like 8 or 9 yards.
Okay.
Both pulled back by holds. So I'm just saying, the kid's really damn talented. Really talented.
Friday night, we had the Tennessee Titans.
Oh, by the way, hold on before you go down. Sorry, David Evans Olsen sent us a package with all kinds of cards and shit that are fucking awesome. So
Yes,
I wanted to thank him on camera. That's +10, David Evans Olsen.
Yep, absolutely. Especially when you can squeeze in some Super Bowl 37 memorabilia.
Yep, and it's going to find its way onto the set. We're getting ready to move. So this set will no longer be the set.
Yeah.
Third move in a year and a half. Just throwing that out there.
It's evolving. It's ever evolving, and we couldn't do it without all of you and all of your support and all of your gifts as well. Yeah, we're cheap. We're cheap sluts for gifts.
100%. And Kevin Vick got the trivia question of the day.
Good.
It was Charlie fucking Ward. Charlie Ward is the last Knicks first rounder to get a second multi-year contract.
Oh,
Plus 5.
I forgot you said the football thing.
I did. Yeah. I gave a.
You did.
I
gave a
little,
strong hint.
I did. I gave a strong hint. But I saw that and immediately went, that can't possibly be true. Not gonna lie, I looked it up. It was true.
Right. Tennessee Titans, Atlanta Falcons. 23-3 Titans. Nobody really played in the game. The one thing that I saw positive from either of these teams coming out was that maybe Felipe Franks can actually be a backup in this league.
Stop talking.
And
I knew that's what you were going to say.
I doubt it. I'm going to doubt it.
He was fine. I mean, he was playing against nobodies.
Uh-huh.
Nobodies. I mean, hell, Kyle Pitts didn't even play. Mm-hmm. Which, by the way, one of the things I really want to talk about here, can we stop this with the rookies? There's 3 preseason games. These guys need reps. Like, we've gone way too far off the deep end with nobody playing. I swear to you, I think the Rams and the Chargers were pulling people out of the crowd. Mm-hmm. I think they just had spare jerseys with fake names like, do we have a Smith? Can you run a route?
Bring your IDs.
Come on. We got a helmet. I think that's why they were fighting in the crowd. They were like, I don't know any of these players.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
Preseason games are a good excuse to go to the stadium and get drunk with your friends.
It's the only reason I've ever done it.
That's it. There's no other reason to go. No, I don't think there's. I mean, you want to talk about Darrington Evans?
No.
Ooh.
No, I don't.
No. The Buffalo Bills and the Detroit Lions. Now the Lions, on the other hand.
You just completely gleaned all the way over Atlanta and Tennessee.
Yeah, I just
you gained
nothing
from that. Yeah, here's what I learned. Javian Hawkins sucks. I don't know who the other running back's going to be. It's not him. He could not run a greasy, wet peg up a fat cat's ass. I added adjectives because it was that relevant. Holy God. I swear to you, I watched 2 runs of his where he got the ball, and I swear to you, I thought he was going to throw it behind him. Like, bomb! Ah! Yeah, I can't necessarily glean how good you're going to be. I can glean if you are not good at football. And Javian Hawkins, huzzah. Now I'm good.
Okay.
That was just what I wanted to say from that.
Okay, good. Good analysis. Thanks for making me take him in the Dynasty League, you bastard.
Yeah. Bad thing, he's still the 3rd best running back on your team.
He is. No, I do have Larry Roundtree, and we'll get to him in just a second.
Oh, yeah. You want to hear? I'm going to sound like a New England Patriot announcer talking about Bill Belichick. Where's the whipped cream? Just
Buffalo Bills and the Detroit Lions. 16-15, your final score. And the only thing I pulled away from this game was the Lions are not good.
Jason Trump and Jonathan Welch plus 3 apiece. Both for ball jokes to Tank.
Oh, no.
Jason Trump's was great. He said, you're growing, unlike Tank's hair.
Aww. Thanks, guys.
Play to your judge. It's a real good strategy.
Appreciate you guys. Thanks for boosting the self-esteem this morning. Now, the Lions were not good. And the fact that Jared Goff was not good, he was getting sacked, Penny Sewell got
ate up by Gregory Rousseau.
Right. There was a lot of pressure in the backfield. I have a feeling that this is not an overreaction. This is what we're going to be in store for.
Now, I will say they did Penny Sewell no favors. They put him out there like, you figure it out. I mean, there was never a tight end staying in. There was never a running back staying in. Here's what I will say. Amon St. Brown's really good, and I tried to tell you, and if you didn't listen to me, you're too late. Amon St. Brown is really, really good. He is going to be a starter on this team. Might start out as the 3rd wide receiver in 3 wide receiver sets. I'm telling you, he's going to pass Brashad Perriman, and it ain't going to take that long. He is really good. And I don't think Jared Goff's that bad. I think they're going to have to figure out how to get the ball out of his hand because right now they have the line was not great. There were some backups. I get it. I think when the line's all put together, it will be fine. Detroit's going to be better than you think they're. Just telling you, they're going to be better than you think they're. Okay. They're not the 2-win team that we sold them to be. That is a spunky-ass little team. I mean, they had third stringers that I've never heard of. And I got news for you. If you're wearing a jersey in an NFL preseason game and I've never heard of you, you might have won a fan contest.
So you think old chewing kneecaps is something
there's
to
something
it?
I like about this team. I don't know what it is. And it's just, they're just spunky. Yeah. And I just really friggin' like it.
Well, overreaction Monday. I don't think they're good.
Here's my overreaction. Stop taking DeAndre Swift right now. If you've already done it, I'm sorry. You already fucked it up. Jamal Williams is their number one running back.
Really?
Yes. DeAndre Swift is going to be used as a compliment to Jamal Williams. You'll tell me I'm crazy. I know it. It's fine. It's fine. Jamal Williams is running back for the Detroit Lions. Jamal. I took him last night in the fantasy draft. Stupid late, and I was giddy about it.
So do you think he actually has the better talent to be the every down back, or is this a play on Detroit's part of let's just sparingly use DeAndre?
I think they've realized that DeAndre Swift cannot hold up to a full workload.
Okay.
So they know he needs to be a complementary piece. There's guys like this all over the league. It's the Darren Sproles rule. Darren Sproles was a really electric player for 10 to 12 touches a game. If you tried to throw 20 his way, he would have been broken in half. It didn't work. So what do? You give him less tote. That's what they're going to do with DeAndre Swift. And people are taking him in the third round of fantasy drafts, and they shouldn't.
On the Buffalo Bills side, what was your takeaway?
That no one played, and Zach Moss is the only running back on that team that I even want to consider because he's the one I haven't seen be bad.
Okay.
Steady Dropping him said, glad my Bengals drafted Jamar Chase. They made the right decision. I'm not going to agree with you solely because I'm terrified for your quarterback. I don't think Jamar Chase is going to be bad. He wasn't bad in the preseason game. Your line terrifies me.
Well, I think that's his statement is an indictment on Penny.
Penny was asked to do a lot. And I'm going to level with you. There wasn't a lot. And Gray Ford is a diehard Lions fan. He can comment on this better than I can. I don't think you saw a lot of the starters, and Sewell, I think, stayed in with the second-teamer guys. So, I mean, he's out there on an island, and he's a rookie. Jamar, and I will give you that. Jamar, he said that the first time, too. Steady Dropping him again. He will do well with screens and shit like that. I don't disagree with you, and I think Joe's going to need that. I still think 5 years from now you're going to look back at Penny Sewell and go, damn it, that dude's good. Another thing you got to remember about Penny Sewell, he's coming out of a system that is not a pro-level system. So he's basically they're having to mold him into an NFL-level blocking system. I heard a lot of people get really panicky about Penny Sewell, and I think that's a gross overreaction.
Well, like you said, he was getting beat by Gregory Rousseau. And
Gray Ford +2. Hadn't been on the field in 18 months, too. It's a good point. And I can say the same thing about Jamar Chase, in fairness. That's one thing I've noticed. The layoff has not affected these guys as much as I thought it would. Because Micah Parsons looked lively, Jamar Chase looked lively, and Penny Sewell looked lively. So, I thought those guys were going to be slow on the uptick. Not going to have been wrong about that.
Not so much.
I don't like admitting when I'm wrong, but damn it, I will if I am, and I think I was.
Dallas Cowboys and the Arizona Cardinals. The Cardinals 19-16 got the win. Did you pull anything away from that game? Nobody played.
No.
I mean, Kyler didn't play. Dak didn't play.
My biggest takeaway, Rondale Moore's going to be manufactured touches.
Oh, God. They were running him on end rounds and all kinds of stuff.
They're going to manufacture touches for him. I can't tell you that he's going to be a good receiver. I can tell you he's going to be electric with the ball in his hands. And you know what scares me for? Chase Edmonds. Because I'm afraid they're going to use him being in Carolina market, much like Curtis Samuel was used last year. He'll line up in the backfield. He's going to do a lot of shit, but damn, he looks small. I mean, this is a guy I watched a ton of tape on. He looked really small in an NFL field.
Chase did?
Yeah. No,
Okay.
Rondell won.
Oh, Rondell.
He's only 5'7", I get it, but he's going to be a fun player to watch, if for nothing else.
But I think that's part of the charm of the Arizona Cardinals offense is that they can do so many things. They can throw so many different looks at you. They can run end arounds with him. They can run Kyler. They can run Chase. They can throw it to Chase. They can switch up all of their wide receivers to play every slot.
Kevin Vick, Joe Burrow has as much chance of finishing the season healthy as Le'Veon Bell does passing a drug test on 4/21. Evan Doyle, Mayfield's easily the worst quarterback in the AFC North until Ben's off to the retirement home. +2 for both of you. I like this game. 100% I am.
Okay, all right.
It gave me a reason to use a spreadsheet.
He loves his spreadsheet.
I do love a spreadsheet. I love a good spreadsheet.
Cardinals win 19-16. Did you learn anything from the Cowboys?
Michael Gallup. I've said that name all offseason long. That's the forgotten man. Amari Cooper is going in the 4th round. CeeDee Lamb sometimes going as early as the back end of the 3rd, but in the 4th round. Michael Gallup's going in the 10th. Yeah, I'm okay with that. I'll have Michael Gallup any place that you. If he hits double-digit round, I will 100% have him. He looked very, very good.
Now, Saturday was the day that most of us got to see our teams play. My team played. Your team played. Your quarterback looked so much better than mine. Rookies anyway.
Number 1 rated rookie among the top 5 rookies in the first round. Mine was number 1. Not 2, not 3, number 1.
What was it you liked, though, about Zach Wilson's performance?
He stayed within himself. I'm going to be honest with you. Zach Wilson will be absolutely fantasy irrelevant. Mm-hmm. I mean, fantasy irrelevant. But kid's got an arm. Kid's got a damn cannon arm. Mm-hmm. One of the things that I look for out of rookies is how easily do you get it to the sideline? Because that's one thing that a lot of people don't think about. So in college, the hash marks are wider. So that cross your body, start on the left side, throw an outright to the right side. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of times you see those flutter because guys are used to being closer to the sideline. It didn't from Zach. That ball comes out lively. He's not always going to make the right decision, but I'm just telling you, the kid's got some pop in his arm.
Did you see Josh Johnson's quote after the game?
No.
Josh Johnson says about Zach Wilson, quote, "He can make some throws that I only see a few quarterbacks making. He reminds me a lot of
Joe Montana,
Aaron Rodgers."
Oh, yeah.
With some of the throws that he makes, the way that he can get his body in position and make unique throws in the pocket, he has a really special arm talent. Once this season gets going, I think the whole country is going to see it, and he has what it takes to be successful.
Gray Ford said Wilson has a laser rocket arm. Haven't seen anything like it since Stafford.
Yep.
+2, Gray Ford. He does. I mean, he doesn't always make the best decision, but my God, he has got one of the biggest arms I've ever seen. And it's just, you watch it come out of their hand. It's the first 5 feet after the ball comes out of their hand. That's where you really see the pop. And out of his, it looks like a shot out of a shotgun. Mm-hmm. I know I'm being dramatic. To be honest with you,
what it's for, Overreaction Monday.
Yeah,
Overreaction Monday.
I saw what I wanted to see. And I'll be honest with you, after his first, he short hopped and passed to Corey Davis, and I went, oh, God, it was a bad decision, it was a bad throw, it was bad everything. Mm-hmm. And then right after that, he came back, and they kept him in tempo, and he made a good throw to the sideline for a first down. Corey Davis, another guy that is being grossly overlooked. Corey Davis is the one for the Jets. I know there was no Elijah Moore, but Corey Davis is the one for the Jets.
Yeah. Talk about quarterbacks not playing that probably should be getting preseason reps is Daniel Jones.
The Giants are bad. The Giants are brutally bad. I understand it was a lot of 2s versus 2s and things like that. The Jets' defensive line absolutely demolished them. Another thing for those of you that hopped on the Michael Carter train and maybe let it float up too high, behind Mekhi Becton, he played 2 series. The Jets averaged 5.5 yards per carry running behind Mekhi Becton. He was mauling dudes. Mm-hmm. Azeez Ojulari looked like a little boy. He just ate him alive. If you hopped on the Michael Carter train, don't jump off a bridge yet. You probably have to take him too high, but he's the best running back on that team. No doubt.
All right. Anything else about the Giants?
They can't get to the quarterback, at all. Mm-hmm. Zach Wilson, Mike Davis, James Morgan, they were all in clean pocket. So the Giants, I may have been too high on them, and I thought I was. I'll be honest with you, I don't think I've seen anybody lower, and I was probably too high. That team is brutally bad.
The Dolphins taking on the Bears, obviously. Justin Fields came out of this one smelling like a rose. 14-20, 142 yards and a touchdown. He also ran for a touchdown.
Steady dropping him just said he doesn't know who Carol Baskin is.
Oh, no.
I'm giving you +3 just because I think you're the only person that didn't waste 10 hours of your life watching that damn documentary. +3 steady dropping them.
No, that needs to be.
That was from Tiger King, by the way.
That needs to be -3.
Nope.
Everyone should see that.
Yeah, I watched it 3 times. I wasted almost a work week of my life watching that shit.
Well, that's a little excessive.
Yep.
One time was enough, but one time was worth it.
Yeah, Carol Baskins was the crazy cat lady from Tiger King, which means I need to go find who made Jonathan Welch. Carol Baskin joke. That's +2. You throw the name out there, it's a guaranteed 2.
Chicago Bears, Miami Dolphins. Justin Fields, he had the rough start, but he did settle down and look good once the other, once the backups got in the second half of the game for the Dolphins defense.
He's so much more talented than who he was playing against that I take nothing from that. Here's what I do take. When he came in to replace Andy Dalton, he was a disaster. Mm-hmm. All of a sudden, he's playing against third-team guys, and all of a sudden, he looks like Joe Montana. Of course he does. He's markedly more talented. Here's what I will say. There is a learning curve that will come with Justin Fields because he came out of a non-pro offense. Mm-hmm. I am not trying to slam Justin Fields. I'm saying Bears fans want this to work. By the way, they had another announcer that said, "This is the most hype I've ever seen from a Bears quarterback." Oh, how quickly you forgot that you took Mitchell Trubisky in the top 5. So I'm going to disagree with you. There are things to like. He has a lively arm. He's very athletic. Mm-hmm. I am terrified he cannot stop taking off. Terrified.
Oh, you think he's going to put himself in bad situations and get hurt?
He likes to scramble too much. Mm-hmm. Play break. It's exactly what I tried to tell you in the pre-draft. In the pre-draft process, what I told you was that he does not dump the ball off, ever. Mm-hmm. And when it comes to that, he takes off, and he does not protect himself, just like in the game against Clemson. And I love how people love to continuously tell me, "You're a Jets fan. What do you know about quarterbacks?" 10 years of track record on quarterbacks. This man's been around for 4 of them. Mm-hmm. All I'm going to say to you is scoreboard. I've done a real good job. And there are things that scare me about Justin Fields. They just do. I don't like it, and this is the same thing I said about Lamar Jackson. If you can build an offense around him where you cater to that, more power to you. That's not what the Bears are right now. The Bears are in survival mode. And what I'm scared of is exactly what I said on draft night. He's going to ask to be the savior of the franchise. And he ain't ready for that. There's a reason 10 teams passed on him, 4 of whom needed quarterbacks. Mm-hmm. There's a reason. Because he is not a win-now player. This is a guy that you're going to have to put the time in on.
I think he can be successful. Alex Sander put up a thing on Facebook over the weekend that said if you had to lay down $100 on these quarterbacks, who would you lay down money on being Offensive Rookie of the Year? And my bet would be on Justin Fields right now. Because I think if he's as good as I think he can be, which I'm a little muted in what I think he can produce this year, but I think that schedule's easy enough, the defense is good enough. I think he can be the Rookie of the Year.
Fields?
Yeah.
If I was going to put money on one, it would probably be Elijah Moore.
This was just of the quarterbacks. And it was, Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson, Trey Lance, Justin Fields, Mac Jones. Right now, out of that group, I'm on Justin Fields all the way. I don't know if Trey Lance is going to start a whole lot this year. I don't know what that is going to look like. It wouldn't be worth it'd be worth throwing some simoleons at. But I think Fields right now is the guy with the highest ceiling because he's on the best team. And I think they can get some production. This is going to be a prove-it year for Matt Nagy. Matt Nagy has to prove that he can draw up an offense that can score some points. And if you look at the roster, they're not all that bad. They have weapons to be able to make plays. I mean, you got Tariq Cohen, isn't Cordero Patterson still there? Or did he go to Atlanta? He went to Atlanta. So they've got Tariq Cohen. They got David Montgomery, Allen Robinson, Darnell Mooney. You got Justin Fields, Cole Kmet. They've got some weapons that they can throw some different looks at people. And I don't know. I mean, you're right. Justin Fields has to know how to take care of himself.
That's what.
But I can see him having similar success to Kyler Murray as far as his rushing ability.
Kyler Murray takes better care of himself.
Oh, I mean, he's a baseball player. I was
about to say, Kyler Murray. So I was reading Kyler Murray is the second best slider in pro football to Russell Wilson.
No doubt.
Weird. They both played baseball. Mm-hmm. Justin Fields doesn't do that. And there's just things that scare me about him. I'm not sitting here look, I've softened my stance on Justin Fields. I just don't like how they're handling him, and I think he's being asked to do a lot in an offense that's not really ready for it.
Yeah.
Be really honest with yourself. You have a quarterback that's going to be running a lot of two tight end sets with two tight ends that can't block. Mm-hmm. That scares me with a guy that likes to run.
Lots of reaction from the Miami side of this game, that the fact that Myles Gaskin didn't start. Myles Gaskin didn't get the start, and Malcolm Brown was the guy who got the tote. So the question is, what the fuck's going on down in Miami?
Hold on.
Hold that thought.
I tried to fucking tell you. You wouldn't listen to me, but I tried to tell you. Myles Gaskin is not necessarily the starter in Miami. Mm-hmm. I feel equivalently good about Myles Gaskin as I do to Salvon Ahmed, as I do to Malcolm Brown. And you know what they all have in common? I have no interest in any of them. None of them. I don't want any of them. And I keep seeing Myles Gaskin go in the 5th round ahead of guys like Mike Davis, ahead of guys like Damian Harris, and I cannot for the life of me make it make any sense. Mm-hmm. And they just tried to tell you. Because he played into the 3rd quarter.
Yes.
That's how they view him. He is a piece of the rotation. That's it. He's not the head of the snake. He's part of the body. That's it. Stop taking this motherfucker in the 5th round. I love it because that means a player that I like is going to fall to me. Mm-hmm. But it makes no sense whatsoever. Myles Gaskin is the most overrated player in fantasy football. It's not even close.
Tua Tagovailoa, his performance wasn't bad. I haven't seen anybody, pointing to major missteps that he made in his limited time on the field. 9 of 14, 98 yards, did throw an interception. But, most of the time, he showed pretty good ability. I feel like, there's no major overreaction here going, oh my God, look, Tua was so, struggled so much and we got to be out on him, which is exactly what he needed. He's got to build some momentum in that job. And if you can get the fan base to look at it and go, yeah, that's a solid start, mm-hmm. you can keep the Wolves at bay.
Yeah, that's what he needed. He needed, by the way, I'm throwing point scores out in the comments as well.
Good.
So if we're going down a path that I don't want to interrupt the conversation, I'll throw them in the comments. We're learning. I agree with you. He needed this to stem the tide. Mm-hmm. And he was fine. There were mistakes. He had mistakes. He was not perfect. 3 drives, I would say 2 of them were pretty productive. And he stemmed the tide. Mm-hmm. The pick was bad, and he could have thrown a second one. That's all I'm going to say. He was this close to it being an absolute disaster.
Anything else from the Bears-Dolphins game?
Not really. You said exactly what I was. Wanted to talk about in this game was Myles Gaskin. I have no faith in any Miami Dolphins running back.
Meanwhile, the Denver Broncos beat the shit out of the Minnesota Vikings, 33-6.
I don't know what the fuck that was. I mean, it honest to God looked like Minnesota didn't have the playbook. That was Laughably bad.
Teddy Bridgewater and Drew Lock, it's a steady competition.
I put no stock in it.
Nothing?
No. Minnesota's that bad. That was one of those burn the tape games. And Mike Zimmer, let's go back to me. You can always tell that we're going to put this out on social media when I zoom in on one of our faces. I just yell more than he does. Hey, Mike Zimmer, maybe you should stop worrying about the fucking vaccine and worry about your goddamn team's inability to run your playbook. Because that was a joke. I've been covering this league for half a decade, been watching it for 2.5 decades. I have never seen a team that ill-prepared. Rich Kotite's Jets, Mike Shula's Bengals. I've never seen that. It was a disgrace that you put a team out on the field that was that fucking bad. And when you've been talking about nothing but, vaccine and all that, it makes you look like a fucking moron. It makes you look like somebody that absolutely does not understand that your lot in life is to coach your football team and let other people do the medicine shit, dumbass. That felt good. I really wanted to do that today. I watched that whole game like, man,
that was impressive.
I would think you were less of a dumb shit if you hadn't just every word out of your mouth was about, well, we're not vaccinated. You're so worried about the vaccine that your team was completely ill-prepared. Mm-hmm. I mean, it was a joke. Have you ever seen a team that bad in the preseason?
No. But, I mean, I don't know that I've seen a team go into a game of this level and go, yeah, we don't fucking care. Because that's what I gathered from it was just, preseason. Hey, watch this. You like all those things that LA does? Don't play any of the starters, none of that shit. We're going to make that look like they're actually trying to win a Super Bowl. I have never heard of A.J. Rose before. Do you have any idea, or did you have any idea of who A.J. Rose was?
I did. Here's what bothers me about what you just said. It would be one thing if the starters came in and had this laissez-faire attitude to a preseason game.
Right.
That's not what this was. This was a bunch of dudes trying to make the roster. And they didn't seem to give a flying rat's ass. And they were out of position, and there was miscommunication between Kellen Mond and his receivers. I understand you've been hit by Rona, but I get it. Doesn't excuse the fact that your guys didn't understand the play call. Mm-hmm. There was multiple times Kellen Mond went in, half the huddle broke, and the other half stayed in. Like, hey, that's not the whole play call. That's terrifying 3 weeks before the season kicks off.
Our backups just don't get it. And we're on to the next thing. We're on to week 2. Hopefully we can have some people available for it. Meanwhile, Denver looked like a team that, would just beat the shit out of your high school. Because that's about the level of competition that they got. The Browns.
It was brutal. But now hold on, there is something I want to say about the Broncos. There's actually a couple things I want to say about the Broncos.
Okay.
KJ Hamler is a bad motherfucker. That's a guy that you should now be drafting in the back end of 16 round fantasy mock draft or fantasy shit. I keep adding extra words. 16 round fantasy football drafts. KJ Hamler should be going at the back end.
Okay.
I could make an argument he's the 2. I could make an argument that he is past Courtland Sutton. That's how drastic the knee injury is with Courtland Sutton. And there are a lot of people that are terrified about that knee. Mm-hmm. The clips that we've seen, that ain't it. They're scared that it's not right, that it's never going to be right. Mm-hmm. KJ Hamler's a guy you need to keep your eyes on. Now, the quarterback situation. Drew Lock looked better than he had. I put no stock in it. That's how bad. Minnesota was so bad.
Yeah.
It was so bad. But, for what was put in front of him, Drew Lock did a good job. And I would say if this is a 3-round title fight, Drew Lock won round 1. Because they're not going to name a starter until the week before the first game. So I would say Drew Lock's up 1-0.
The Jacksonville Jaguars lost to the Cleveland Browns 23-13. And we had the Tim Tebow blocking seminar that was proudly displayed all over Twitter as he can't block anything. What else did you see from the Jacksonville Jaguars?
Absolute farce of a comedy, of a disaster, of a circus, of a blow it up.
Well, I mean, they've already started. Hell, they traded Joe Schobert
For a
for
6th round
nothing.
pick.
For a 6th round pick to the Pittsburgh Steelers.
And
that defense just got even better.
I'm glad you said that. Because did you hear the story of how Joe Schobert found out?
Yeah, he had no clue.
He had no fucking clue.
No.
That's not how everything with Jacksonville, this is not how professional organizations are run. And you know who watches this? Everybody in the league. Joe Schobert, a guy that's been a Pro Bowler, one of the best players on your team. You didn't even have the common courtesy. First of all, you lied and said that Pittsburgh just full court pressed you.
Right.
You called them.
Yeah.
It ain't that hard to figure out, dum-dum. It ain't that hard to figure out who called who. Because guess what? When you throw it out there, because what you tried to do was make it look like Pittsburgh just full court pressed you for a 6th round pick. That's how they full court pressed you. And then when you did that, it made their linebackers go, wait. You were that adamant in getting Joe Schobert? So Kevin Colbert went out and went, no, that's not exactly how that went. So now you look like a moron for the 400th time. I can't keep saying this with Jacksonville. I mentally, I'm to the point there's 31 teams in the NFL.
Yeah.
And then there's Jacksonville, which is just a comedy. I mean, it's become like a slapstick comedy. They can't get out of their own way. I'm going to be honest with you. If Urban Meyer ever wins more than 7 games in a season in the NFL, I will eat my own hat. With steak sauce and hot sauce. I will deep fry it, and I will fucking eat it.
He may not make it past a year.
He may not coach 7 games in this league, period, because the team may mutiny on him.
Mm-hmm. The ridicule that he is well-deserved getting right now is awful. And Trevor didn't look bad, but there again, what are you doing? I think about this team going forward, and I don't buy into the Travis Etienne thing.
You shouldn't. The running back you want for the Jacksonville Jaguars is James Robinson. Mm-hmm. I've been telling you that for months.
The offensive line is god-awful, and we saw
Juwan
that
Taylor
at times.
and Cam Robinson got abused.
Yep. Trevor Lawrence running for his life is not a good idea, and that's exactly the situation he finds himself in. Now, the fact that he was able to have some decent stats out of it, I think goes to show you the level of that he's got it. He has the ability to be a good quarterback in this league if his team and his coaches don't get him killed first.
Which is a risk. I will be honest with you. If I played for the Jacksonville Jaguars, especially if I was a quarterback, I would be calling my wife to set up a hell of an insurance policy on me because you're going to need it. It was a comedy.
I think this is actually why Urban Meyer is still on we've got a quarterback competition going on between him and Gardner Minshew, because he knows that the possibility is he's going to get one of them killed and the other one's going to have to play. It's as bad. Actually, I'm going to say it's worse than I thought it could ever be with Urban Meyer running the show down in Jacksonville. On the Cleveland Browns side, did you see anything?
Donovan Peoples-Jones. I'm just going to keep saying it. How long have I been on that?
It's been a couple of months.
Oh, I was on him last year.
Well, I mean, you were, but I mean, this whole he's going to have value this year. I think it's been at least 6 weeks.
I could make an argument that he's the 2.
Behind who? Jarvis?
Jarvis Landry.
Yeah.
I could make that argument. I could make the argument that Odell Beckham is going to become a specialized player. Here's why. Mm-hmm. Donovan Peoples-Jones is a better blocker, and he's more athletic to build than Odell Beckham Jr. I will not be shocked if Peoples-Jones and Odell are close to each other in snaps at the end of this year. And I'm not sure that I don't. You asked about Rashard Higgins. Mm-hmm. Peoples-Jones is the new Rashard Higgins.
Okay.
Higgins will run as the 4, and that's fine. I don't care. I understand there's I don't see a path to Odell not making this team. Like, I don't think they're going to cut him or anything like that. Mm-hmm. I could see him being that Julio Jones decoy.
What about Demetric Felton?
Stop pretending he's a running back, because he's not.
I was going to say, they used him in several different ways. He basically played the same kind of role for them as that he did at UCLA. Just doing a little bit of everything. Is there room for him in this offense?
There is, but I really need them to stop pretending like he's a running back, because he's not. He's not. Mm-hmm. He's a wide receiver. He's that Curtis Samuel. I mean, can he run out of the backfield? Yes. Mm-hmm. Should you also know definitively that he is not a running back? Also, yes.
Is he worth anything in a deep dynasty?
No, okay. He is not. He's at best going to run as the fifth wide receiver or the third running back. Mm-hmm. I'll pass.
The New Orleans Saints and the Baltimore Ravens. Ravens win 17-14. I was listening to the morning show on ESPN this morning coming in, and the Shay, I believe her name is talking about how great Ian Book looked. He's going to be the offensive rookie of the year. Stop that. That is dumb.
That's dumb talk.
I don't think you got the idea. See,
I don't think you understand how rookie of the year works.
We did want to talk about overreaction Monday, but you showed up drunk to work this morning. This is Jameis Winston's job with the New Orleans Saints. I'm convinced of it. Taysom Hill is not good. He is awful. He looked awful, and I don't think there is a path to him being the starter this year. This is Jameis's job to lose. Agreed?
I believe so. We're going to do risky fantasy plays tomorrow because Jeremy drafted his big boy league last night. And it's the most no risk it, no biscuit team I've ever seen.
Yep.
Superflex, I have 3 quarterbacks. Jimmy Garoppolo, Justin Fields, and Jameis Winston. Whoa, we won.
No
I
risk
walked
it, no
away from that
biscuit
draft like, oh boy, that's either going to go real good or real bad.
Mm-hmm. The only thing that saved Taysom Hill's time on the field was Marquez Callaway.
Marquez Callaway is that dude, I told you. I done told you.
He's another one of those. He's another one of those late rounds. You need to target him.
He's the one. Until Michael Thomas gets back, he's the one. He's the 2 when he comes back. Traquan Smith is not good at football. He will be on the field, and he will be completely 114% irrelevant.
Yep.
This is Jameis Winston's job, in my opinion.
How about the Baltimore Ravens? Anything learned? Nobody played.
I learned that their uniforms look the same no matter who wears them. That's my biggest takeaway.
You're really impressed with the performance of Trace McSorley?
No. I mean, it is what it is. I don't understand why J.K. Dobbins was the one starter that was out there for any period of time. Mm-hmm. That makes me a little nervous, but not that much.
I don't know that it should.
You know what makes me nervous? The fact the Saints turned the ball over 6 times.
It is a little aggressive.
I felt like the count from Sesame Street. I thought 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It was fucking awful.
Yeah.
How do you turn the ball over 6 times in a preseason game?
Just,
another thing that I've never seen before.
Sometimes you're going to take your lumps, and we'd rather get them out of the way now. We'd rather have the turnovers in the preseason than in the regular season. That's my coach speaking. Let's move on. That's got to be the reaction.
The Ravens, we'll let you know next week when we see somebody that actually makes that team. Because we didn't see many of them.
Yeah. Then we had the Cincinnati Bengals beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 19-14. Kyle Trask, he's the one stat line that sticks out to everybody. He did have 5 passes that were right in the pocket and got dropped. So let's take our step back from the, 4 and 15?
4 of 15 for 35 yards.
4 of 15 stat line that he had. Anyway, he's not going to play anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
What did you take away from this?
Nothing.
I had one takeaway from both teams.
Okay. My one takeaway from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers is I think Joe Tryon's really good.
My one takeaway from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers is Giovanni Bernard's going to be more involved in this than you think.
I started to think that as well, and then I still just don't see where he fits in. Is it going to be a straight up, you see a series and you see a different back on every down? Like you get to see Leonard Fournette on first down, see Ronald Jones on second down, and then Gio Bernard comes in when they need some short yardage in the pass game on third down? That's disgusting. And that makes me think even more than I already did. I'm not really interested in a piece of the backfield for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
I'm not saying I want to draft one. I'm saying I think Giovanni Bernard's going to run that James White role that we originally expected. Then it was all just Fournette and Jones, and now I'm back on the James White thing. My takeaway from the Bengals is Jamar Chase is going to have a different role than we thought he did.
Okay.
There have been a lot of reports that he's not separating well. That wasn't overly hard to predict because it was the system they ran at LSU was very pick and poppy. We'll talk about this with another LSU receiver with Carolina Panthers at the end of this. It's going to take some doing. What I did see was that with the ball in his hand, he caught a ball, I want to say either right behind the line of scrimmage or right at it, and ripped it off for a 16-yard gain. With the ball in his hand, he can do things. I think this idea that he was going to be some great deep threat, I don't buy it. I never really did buy it, to be honest with you. Because he was a contested jump ball guy at LSU, great hands, went up and got it, and you're just not going to be able to do that, especially early in the NFL. Steady dropping a Bengal fan has said slant screen guy, and I think he'll be fine with that. I do. I think he'll be fine with that. Because here's what that does. It opens up your – because you don't have a tight end that's worth even mentioning. It allows you to run more four wide. Because you're going to have T. Higgins on the outside, Boyd and Jamar Chase in the slots on each side, and Auden Tate on the outside. Because every day's a great day for it to be Auden Tate day.
Yep.
+3 for me.
I'm glad to see my wife in the comments. Hi, baby. Andy says her big takeaway was how can that guy catch with so few fingers? I had it on the NFL 100 last night, and they're going through, and we slipped in there right at number 59 with Jason Pierre-Paul, and they were showing the interceptions from last year. And she absolutely loves the fireworks story from JPP. I learned absolutely, close to nothing about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Nobody played. Tom Brady came in. He was fine. His two targets went to Gio Bernard and Antonio Brown, who I still contend is going to have a bigger role in this passing offense than many people think. But I learned nothing about our team.
You shouldn't have. If you took anything really away from that, you're doing it wrong.
Let's talk about the Texans and the Packers. 26-7. 26-7. Houston's on a roll. That's win number 1 for David Culley. This is the only one he's going to get.
They're bad. Because God, they're bad.
Jordan Love got his shoulder tweaked in the game. They went back and looked at it, and I guess he's okay. I haven't heard anything else about the shoulder. So, yay, he'll be there to back up Aaron Rodgers when it comes time.
There were two big takeaways from this game for me. Okay. Devin Funchess is the number 2 receiver for the Green Bay Packers.
That sounds gross.
In a deep fantasy league, 18+ rounds or 14+ teams, he is a draftable player. And I'm probably going to start targeting him late in drafts after what I just saw. The other takeaway, I told you. Philip Lindsay is the starting running back of the Houston Texans. He's the best running back on the team, and no matter how stupid I think David Culley may be, you cannot put your fingers in your ears and act like you don't see it forever. He's the most talented player on that team by a mile. He's the starter. He started over David Johnson in this game. and I think he will continue to do so.
But did you see anything from him that made you believe? Because the stat line is god awful. So, I didn't see it, so that's why I'm asking the question.
Here's my fear. My fear is that I'm going to have been too right. That Phillip Lindsay gets first and second down work, and then David Johnson comes in to be the passing down back, and they split this in some god-awful fucking convocation of bullshit where they're all like RB 50. But it does give me, if you're a Houston Texans fan, it should make you feel a little bit better that your coach did at least acknowledge Phillip Lindsay's the best running back on this team. What does it matter? This team's so bad.
Yeah.
But you also got to remember they didn't have a tackle.
Yeah.
They had no tackles for this game. Titus Howard and Laramie Tunsil, and I can't remember the other one.
Sharping? No, he's a guard.
Yeah, Max Sharping is a guard. I can't remember who the third one was. But that was 3 of the 6 tackles on the entire team. So I'm not ready to jump off a bridge yet. Obviously, I would like Phillip Lindsay better with Deshaun Watson. I don't mind him with Tyrod Taylor, especially where you're getting him. You're getting him in the 11th round right now. That's going to come up this week, by the way.
Kansas City Chiefs, San Francisco 49ers. Chiefs win 19-16. A possible preview of the Super Bowl. Is Trey Lance the guy? Is Trey Lance the starter?
I would love for what he started with.
I was going to say, did you feel good about how it ended?
Dog shit.
I mean, he had the nice little 80-yard touchdown, but I'm starting to think that Trey Lance is just straight up boom or bust.
He's raw.
Yeah.
He needs snaps. He's not going to unseat Jimmy Garoppolo. There's no prayer of that. And I'll be honest with you, you know who the happiest person on planet Earth was? John Lynch. John Lynch. Because now he has everything he needs. That 5 for 14, 128 yard with a touchdown performance by Trey Lance is everything he needs to convince the fan base. The good is great, but he ain't ready to start, and they can Pat Mahomes him for a year, deal with the Garoppolo thing after the season, and move on. And just hope to God Jimmy doesn't get hurt. Because that's the one thing that can derail this. Because now you have everything you need to squelch all the shit on Twitter of how great Trey Lance can make every throw. Whoopee woo. Yeah, he can also do some real bad shit because he's jumping up from FCS level competition to the NFL. So it's going to take some time. I think Trey Lance will ultimately be the second best quarterback out of this class.
Okay.
But it's going to take some time.
They didn't.
And you saw it. I mean, there's no doubt you saw it.
They didn't ask him to do a whole lot in this game. He wasn't, they weren't throwing him out there in the run game, anything like that. They kept it very simple, and he hit on one big play. Other than that, it's kind of rough. So I think, Jimmy Garoppolo, he's got the handle on this job.
100%.
Kansas City Chiefs.
Hey, what'd you learn there?
Nobody
Anybody got something they learned? Big sweeping takeaways. Okay,
Bueller. Las Vegas Raiders 20-7 over the Seattle Seahawks. I did not see a second of any of the highlights or anything of this game.
Oh, hold on. But I did have one sweeping takeaway from the Chiefs.
Oh, okay.
Byron Pringles, too. I tried to tell you. Mecole Hardman's not very good at football. He's just not. Nobody wants to admit this. Mecole Hardman's got a whole hell of a lot of John Ross in him.
Yep.
My God, you're fast. But Lord have mercy, your eyes, your head, and your brain, your eyes, and they don't work at the same time.
I was thinking Darius Hayward Bay, but
Same, just an older reference.
Really fast, can't catch.
All gas, no brakes. All gas, no hands.
All right, so Byron Pringle is your 2 for the Kansas City
and
Chiefs.
Stop overreacting to Edwards-Helaire. Stop it. Trey Sermon having fumbling issues is not good for his outlook. By the way, he got smoked. I don't remember who hit him. But somebody hit him, and I thought, oh, God, he might be dead. Right back up. Then he hurt his hand, and that was on the fumble.
Vegas Raiders beat the Seahawks 20-7.
Yay!
B.J. Emmons scored. He's
He's
a North Carolina boy.
Nathan Peterman continues his run as the greatest preseason quarterback of all time.
Yes.
If he played even 10% of what he was in the preseason, the regular season, he could start in the NFL.
I thought it was hilarious. One of the recaps about this game I wrote was, hey, at least Nathan Peterman showed other teams that he could play in case they want to come get a quarterback. Why? Why would anybody make a play for Nathan Peterman off of the performance from a preseason game?
The only person that would make...
Against the defense that's bad anyway.
The only person that would make a play
ones.
on Nathan Peterman's John Gruden, and he's already got him. and Nathan Peterman, man, it's a good quarterback, man.
Or that if some team called on Marcus Mariota, then he'd be a great backup to Derek Carr. No, he will not. He is not good at football. The Los Angeles Chargers beat the Los Angeles Rams 13-6.
You had no other takeaways from...
No, absolutely not.
I did.
What?
Alex Leatherwood.
Oh.
He's pretty good.
You were watching linemen.
I'm always watching linemen. Always.
Alex Leatherwood, he was worth the 17th pick now.
I never hated that pick. You did. I did.
Okay. Anything else?
It makes me like Josh Jacobs more because I know that Leatherwood's going to be pass blocking is going to be a work in progress, but he's going to be so damn good in the run game that I just feel like that makes me like Josh Jacobs a little bit more.
I have a whole lot of shares of Josh Jacobs this year.
As well you should.
Because he's being drafted too low.
100%.
He's being drafted after Myles Gaskin.
Which is stupid.
Which is idiotic.
And rare. You draft with dumb shit sometimes. If you're in a league where Myles Gaskin goes before Josh Jacobs, you should immediately kick that person out of the league. Because it is not fair to take their money.
Chargers, Rams.
The crowd was really that was my takeaway.
Yeah, the big fight.
That crowd's got a lot of fight in them.
But Larry Roundtree, he turned in some good stats.
Yeah, the Chargers, excuse me, they had 2 dogs in this game. Guess who? The 2 I told you it would be. There's a lot of Jeremy just taking some rookie victory laps this week.
Shocker of shockers.
Who's shocked?
Who didn't expect it?
Josh Palmer and Larry Roundtree. They're both real good. Josh Palmer's third receiver on this team is not even debatable. Might end up being the second receiver on this team.
Jacob Harris had 4 catches for 46 yards. That's another guy that you've been in on. Any other takeaways?
I like being right more than I like being alive. So,
any other takeaways before we get into the final game of the day or of the weekend that wrapped it up yesterday afternoon with the Carolina Panthers and the Indianapolis Colts?
Not really. I would say if you're monitoring the handcuff for Darrell Henderson, they say it's Jake Funk, but I think it's Xavier Jones. He certainly won round 1 of on field. I know everything coming out of L.A. is, watch for Jake Funk. Okay.
He's a rookie. He's overblown.
Yeah,
Xavier Jones has been in the system for a year, even though he didn't get any touches last year. He's still been in the system. He's used to everything. Raymond Calais, I would even think he's ahead of Jake Funk in the pecking order right now. Agree?
No.
No? You think Jake Funk is the 3?
Oh, certainly.
Okay.
Certainly.
Yesterday, the weekend preseason week 1 capper, Indianapolis Colts beat the Carolina Panthers 21-18. There are 2 major overreactions that I've seen so far from Carolina Panthers fans is that Chuba Hubbard is the deal and Terrace Marshall is going to be incredible. Terrace Marshall scored on didn't score. He had a...
Yeah, because he got caught from behind.
Yeah, he had a big 60-yard catch.
On a totally broken play. You know who else could have ripped that for 50 yards? Me. Because he came across on a drag route and looked up and went, oh, fuck. You literally can tangibly see his head go, there's nobody back there. So he just turns upfield and goes, yoo-hoo. He's fine. I think Panthers fans are losing their gourds on Terrace Marshall.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I've already seen, he's the 2. He's the 2 behind DJ Moore.
And that's stupid.
Wow,
Stop that.
No.
He's the 3. And Shi Smith's the 4. Shi Smith had a good catch in this game as well. 26-yarder.
Chuba Hubbard on a big run 59-yard gainer.
He was not good other than that, though. But that was, that should have been he should have been dropped in the backfield and wound up 59 yards. So he's going to have a role. I'm softening on my stance after watching that. I don't think it would. I think Chuba would be the head of the snake, but it would be an ugly committee. If I've got McCaffrey, I want Chuba late. I'm not going to take him in the 10th round where some people have taken him. But
you've seen Chuba Hubbard in the 10th round?
We're in a Panthers market, brother.
Oh, that's true. I keep forgetting that. I don't think I've seen him drafted in anything short of a dynasty league yet.
Oh, then he should be drafted. 100%. He should still be drafted. Kevin Vick said, biggest take for me, why the fuck is Will Grier still wearing a jersey? I know the kid, so I'm not allowed to say that. I like him a lot, but his play was slightly less than awe-inspiring.
Mm-hmm. Oh, there's no doubt that PJ's the guy there. PJ Walker, he's the backup.
Oh, 100% he's the backup. Will Grier's the emergency 3.
Mm-hmm. Why didn't Sam Darnold play? Is he a mono again?
Absolutely no idea. No, it was planned. I have no idea why they didn't play Sam Darnold. He was one of the guys I was the most looking forward to seeing.
Right.
I turned on that game and saw PJ Walker, and it was like somebody kicked me in the ding-ding. I was like, oh, shit. It's the only reason I wanted to watch this game. Then I saw Terrace Marshall rip off the big one, and I went, yep, that's going to be a thing.
Yep.
Jonathan Welch asked, who's the number 2 in Indy?
It's Jacob Eason.
It is for now.
Until Sam Ehlinger what?
For me, it's not even the same Ehlinger thing. I don't know that you can go into the season with those two because they both have a massive deficiency. Sam Ehlinger's a borderline NFL player. Mm-hmm. Jake Eason's got $1 million arm with a 10-cent brain, and he holds onto the ball way too long. Mm-hmm. I mean, you got sacked 3 times in the preseason, bro, and that line's a problem. That line is a problem.
But it's not healthy yet.
Kelvin, I need to address
Fisher.
this because we were talking about.
Yeah.
Kelvin Joyner said, I don't get the Hubbard hate. Later, you're right. Late round backs do contribute all the time. The problem with Chuba Hubbard is he was way more name than he was talent. If the only role you had as a running back was to run the ball, Chuba Hubbard would have been a day 2 pick. It's not. One of the worst pass blocking running backs I have ever seen in my life. I mean, I watched tape on him where it was comical. I mean, you're in a system where it's get the ball out, spread, all that shit, and he is still getting just toroed by defensive ends. He's not a complete enough back. When you see him come in, and this is one of my fears with him with Carolina, it was one of my fears of him going in the draft, is that you see him come in, and you almost instantaneously go, this can't be a pass. Because he's not much with the hands either. So he tips your hand more than you want a backup running back to do. You would like your backup back to have a more well-rounded game where they can do just jack all trades, master of none. I don't feel like he takes a lot of the load off of McCaffrey. He's good for maybe 6 to 8 carries a game in a straight line because he does do that well. But just had to address that.
Okay. Overall, there were some things that you picked up on week 1 of, guys didn't look ready. Obviously, it's week 1 of the preseason. There's a lot of things still to figure out. I don't think there were any great sweeping indictments that you can really make from week 1. I mean, other than Taysom Hill's bad. To me, that's the one confirming thing I had of the weekend. Was that, I think this is Jameis Winston's job. I'm starting to lean more toward the definite category on Mac Jones over Cam Newton, but I think a lot of people still want to see more from Cam Newton in the preseason, in game 2 of the preseason. But other than that, it was a whole lot of fun to have football back.
Oh, very much so. Very much so.
And, of course, we'll be with you talking more football this afternoon on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400 tomorrow here in the Sportsocracy. The 30 days of Draftmas will roll on. We will talk about high-risk, high-reward fantasy plays for this year.
And our leaderboard for the day We had 4 over 10. Kevin Vick with 13.
Nice.
Jonathan Welch with 12. Kelvin Joyner and David Evans Olson with 10 apiece. Sending gifts to the studio does have its
perks.
Has its perks. But a lot of you also close. We had 4 8s, 5 8s, 5 8s.
Mm-hmm.
Good day. Lively day. Good job, everybody. I like this setup a lot.
What?
We point out that somebody said it's like around the horn.
Yeah.
You know, the only difference is that you're all the
things. All the things.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we will be back here on the morning show tomorrow. Good God.
The television blinked and Tank's brain did
my
too.
brain just went out. The TV just went completely blank.
Yeah, our monitor screen just went out and Tank's brain blinked at the same time. Hard reset.
This afternoon on ESPN Asheville 92.9 FM, 880 AM and 1400. Sports Tank with Jeremy Greene, heard everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. And back with you tomorrow morning here in the Wicked Weed studio. WickedWeedBrewing.com. Drink different. Have a great afternoon, everybody. See you on the radio side.